And good day wherever you are. Welcome to SchreckTeck. And there's Gina right next to me.
Am I right here already?
Hey, you're right there. You're not watching the preview.
Exactly. Good morning. And I was saying this is going to be one of Rick's favorite shows because usually we have, for some reason, we do have a lot more female guests than we do male guests.
I'm okay with
so
females.
Usually Rick doesn't get a word in edgewise. But not only do we have an awesome male guest, not that that makes a difference, but just that it'll help balance out for Rick. But Terry is one of the most techie gadget guys that I know, and I did wear a shirt in honor of Terry. Gadgets make me giddy. I wore my Gadget shirt just for Terry being on the show. And so I want to welcome our guest, Terry Brock. And Terry actually is a professional speaker, talks about everything to do with technology. He has an amazing website. So, and we'll mention it several times and show it several times, but terrybrock.com, that with tons of resources, probably one of the most generous people with his information that I know. His blog is just one that you need to bookmark on there. And so, welcome, Terry. I'm so excited that you're finally getting to be with us on SchreckTeck.
Hi, Terry.
Hey, thank you very much, Gina. It is great to be with you, and I'll tell you, we are going to have some fun today, more fun than the law will allow. It'll be great. Of course, the laws are different.
That's not a lot of fun right now, Terry.
Yeah, it is. I think we will have way too much fun talking about everything going on in the world of tech. And first thing I want to just throw out and ask even you, Terry, to see, are you an Instagram user?
I haven't got into Instagram as much. I understand it's got some challenges now with Twitter, thanks to our friends at Facebook who purchased it. But I haven't used that. I'm still learning how to use my iPhone, and I understand it does take pictures. So I'm working on that part.
It is the whole virtual or the whole social sharing photo site. But it's interesting because I love Instagram, use it a lot. I don't really care if it goes to Twitter or not. So this whole new thing with the photos not showing up the right way when you go to your Twitter profile, not such a big deal to me because typically your Instagram audience is a little different than even your Twitter audience. But now I just heard that Twitter is rolling out its own photo filters. So to me, that was kind of exciting.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We're seeing that each platform is now starting to take their own area and do what they want. And it's like Facebook saying, okay, now we're not going to have this voting anymore. And so, of course, you think how many other corporations vote on, let the customers decide what to do. And so we have to realize, okay, whatever you put on Facebook, realize it's not yours. You're just visiting there.
Right.
And pictures and things like that, always keep a backup at home on your external drive.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that's what we say, look at what happened with MySpace and, but think about how many photos we load onto Facebook. I mean, I'm one of those people. I load photos, although I do tend to load them multiple places. Instagram, Facebook, sometimes Flickr.
But do you have one repository where you keep everything?
Yeah, that's how I do it. Now, I'm curious how Twitter is going to even use photo filters because I don't ever take a picture while I'm in Twitter. I take a picture and then I share it to Twitter. So I'm not sure where this whole filter it comes in. There is a camera when you go to the status bar on Twitter. There is a little camera button. So it must just be if you take a picture.
It just uploads it.
Upload it. That it must allow you to do the filtering at that time. I have to play around with that. But that was kind of big news. And some people are really upset about the whole Twitter, Instagram.
Well, Twitter already ruined TweetDeck, so I mean they've got plenty of stuff they can still ruin.
And this is why God invented Hootsuite.
That's right.
So we can do it right.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this works. But I thought that was kind of big news. I don't know if anyone in the chat room has ever done any photos loading directly from Twitter.
I've done it a couple of times, and it just loads it. That's it. There's no filter, nothing else.
Right. So that's what I mean. So I'm wondering where their filtering is going to come in. So it'll be fun to see kind of that whole side of the business. But, all these social sites, there's all kinds of hubbub going on about Facebook and all their promoted posts and kind of weird stuff going on there with folks. This is just something I'm going to throw out to you because this is a weird concept. Check the pages on your Facebook profile that you have liked. Like, look and see what pages you have liked. What I'm finding is there's pages showing up there that I haven't liked. I didn't ever go to their product.
Yes, but they know you should have liked it.
That must be somehow. It is forcing. I don't know what maybe I'm on another page somewhere.
I've seen the same thing. I go, I like that person.
Click on I must click on something that's then automatically making me like the page because I'm seeing likes.
Well, they're doing some sort of weird ads. I noticed I was in yesterday for a couple of minutes, and it had a thing on top saying, help Justin or somebody like that get more friends. And I was going, who's Justin and why do I care? It was just there, and it was a very faint little extra. You could close that box out. It took me a while to figure out that was a close. I had no idea what that was all about. I guess it was an ad of sorts.
Yeah. Well, somehow there are pages being liked for us in weird and strange ways. So if you go to Facebook and look at all the pages that you have liked, you may find some that you really didn't, and then you have to actually go to the page and unlike them.
Maybe they're following the way we do our elections. You just kind of vote for people you don't actually really like, but we won't go there.
I think you're right, Rick.
We won't go there.
Well, and I love chatting with Terry because he's always got kind of the latest and greatest in gadgets, and so I'm always amazed at all the stuff that you have and that you are always involved with. But yesterday, Terry, when you and I were chatting, it was I love the concept. You brought up something about, we buy all these gadgets, and this is holiday season when we look at getting more gadgets. But you talked about how to actually make money. How do you generate revenue from these gadgets? Okay, you piqued my curiosity. Tell us about that.
I think the real key is that's how we got to start with everything. It's really business. You look at when we're in business, we want to connect with others. And I feel that really the technology is just there so that you can facilitate relationships, so you can help people and be able to serve them. And it's an interesting thing. The more you help others and satisfy their needs, the more you get. It's like the late, great Zig Ziglar said, if you can get anything in life you want, if you help enough other people get what they want. And I think that's the key. And so with all these things, look at ways to connect. And one of the things I do a lot now is I'm using a tool. It's not a gadget per se, but it runs on gadgets called iJot, EYEJOT. And I know, Gina, you use that as well. It's great for connecting with people, and it gives you the ability to send a video email to someone. I do it on my laptop. I do it on my iPhone. I do it on my iPad. It works very nicely. And so you can then sit down and send somebody a message, and they actually see you. It's personal, it's warm, and that means it translates into business because people like to do business with people that they like, and they want to make sure that they know you. And when you can use something like that to connect and use, say a little device like your iPad real quickly and easily, you can then put it in there, send a video from anywhere, and I'm using now the new LTE, which I love on my iPad 3 here. It gives me the ability to send it out almost at Wi-Fi speeds from many, many places, almost anywhere. They're expanding the network more. And so that's really a way that you can use any gadget to make money. Thinking of ways that you can connect
because
with people.
You're right. Oh.
Go ahead, Gina.
There. Okay, I was like, I think you're going, but I wasn't sure. What I loved about iJot when I first saw it, and yesterday was, again, reminder, when you sent me that message through iJot, it's not that customers or someone has to download anything. It just plays, which is really nice.
That's the beauty of it. In the past, we could send videos, and so if I were to send you a video, I send Rick a video, it'd be great, but then you'd have to download it, and often the external files could not get through a lot of corporate firewalls, and if they were too big, you couldn't send it. Now, with iJot, it stores everything in the cloud, which is just absolutely wonderful. You take the cloud and mobility, put those together, you got, I think, heaven.
And no blocks by firewalls?
Exactly.
That's good.
It's not going to be blocked by those firewalls, so you can send it out. And really what that means is it's not just seeing your face, but it's like if I want to show them something, I can say, well, look, we've got a new gadget here. Look at this. It does this, and if I push this button right here, look what happens. That comes out over there. See, I can explain what's going on much better with video than I ever could with just text on a screen.
Now, Terry, how do you use that with your clients?
I will send them information regularly to say, hi, Bill, how you doing? Make sure it's okay. And I'll even show them things. Like yesterday, I've got a big presentation coming up in a few weeks in Las Vegas, and I'm talking to the client, and I'm showing them information, and I'm holding up objects. I'm saying, this is what I'm thinking I'm going to present. What do you think of this? And look how this one works, etc. Much more than they could ever do over the phone, or much more than we could ever do otherwise. They're getting a chance to see me, so that then when we meet, they know what I look like. I know what they look like. We're seeing each other on video, and I'm using it for other things, like, for instance, doing a video with the chairman of the conference before the event, telling people why they ought to come to the conference and what we're going to cover, the benefits to them. They're seeing it, and then we put that on their websites. And it creates much more of a relationship and a connection than we've ever had before. So I think really technology ultimately is about people and connecting with people and helping people to achieve their goals.
Is it 60-second video on iJot or 30?
Oh, you can actually do up to 5 minutes for free. Then they have two tiers. There's a freemium and then a premium version, and they have two levels of premium. One is for 10 minutes and another is for 15 minutes. And they add not only the 15 minutes, but also a lot of branding and a lot of other abilities to track what's going on. And so for free, you can get a 5-minute version, and that's very nice.
And that's a long video.
Yes, it is. In the age of the internet, 5 minutes is rather long.
That's long.
Well, that's also, about 3 minutes more than the average attention span.
Yeah, it is longer than the attention span. So that's a great tool. Love that one. And I could see that being used, again, you're sending an email to someone with information, even a proposal, to send your message with that iJot first, so that they get to hear your voice and kind of have that personal touch.
Oh, yeah. They see you, they relate you. And you think about it, that's a natural way of speaking. Roll it back 500 years ago. The way we connected and communicated was largely with just seeing each other. And we could visually see them, we could hear them. That's a very natural form of communication. Now we're kind of circled back to that so that we can communicate, but with the technology, we leverage it so we can do it literally around the world, as you and I are, so that we now have connections with people in other continents, and it's like the world is suddenly become very, very small. And we're talking with people around the world and right there in their home because of tools like YouTube and tools like Skype that we're using right now, Google Hangouts, and many, many others that we can use to get close to people. And I think there's opening up a world of opportunities for people that could say, hey, I could do this, I could do that. I was just reading a service that medical doctors are now offering, that they're offering a concierge service where they're able to work with people and they're able to help them so that you can have a doctor. You pay X dollars a month to be in the club, and that gives you a right to call the doctor. And if you call, you might be charged a small amount for each visit, but the doctor can then talk to you. The doctor can see you, can do visual exams as much as they can over Skype and others. And if the doctor says, looks like we need to see each other, or you need to go to such and such clinic, they can then authorize that. Or they could renew the prescription. There's a lot that they could do without you having to physically go into the office. That is better for the doctors. They're getting extra revenue. They're getting able to see more patients. It's better for the patients. You get much faster service that way. So by leveraging the technology, everybody wins.
And it definitely beats sitting in a waiting room for about 4 hours.
That's true. Unless you got really good videos on your iPad. That's a different thing.
You just want to escape from your office or something, then you might want to. And the discussion in the chat room was, first, Larry had asked, does iJot have an app? So are you using it? And then Leva answered that and said it does say it's on iPhone, which means it would be iPad as well, soon on Android. Do you actually use it via the app on your iPad?
Yeah, I use it on the app on my iPad and the iPhone. I use the iPhone app and then use that one on my iPad. And it works well. As a matter of fact, one thing that I'm using now, I got last week with the new Gadget, it's really a new one for me, but it's an old one that's been out for a while. It's the Mikey Digital from Blue Microphones.
The Mikey is a really good mic.
Yeah, it's great. And then with this adapter...
Wait a minute, that's cool.
You put that in there, and then I take this into my iPhone 5, like so, and now what that means, Rick, you'll appreciate this, in audio, that means you get way cool sound.
Yep. Yeah, I have it.
Oh, yeah, nice. And then also,
it.
It plugs in right here on the side. You can put in your external microphone so you could clip a mic on, and you get very good resonance that way. So now I can do these videos very rapidly, send them out to people. And again, it goes back to we're doing it so we can connect with people a whole lot more.
Yeah, it's about $90. I think it's about $90 for the Mikey, and it does a really good job. Blue is actually about 10 miles from us where we are.
Oh, really? They're great people
They're
there.
good people. Yep.
Is it MIK?
Mickey.
Like Mickey, but they call it Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey Digital.
Okay,
It's a
right.
Mikey
That is
Digital.
Gina, you're not watching my reviews. I did one on it.
I know. There's too much to watch.
Well, you just
You
got to
did
give up
one on
that
that. I
silly
love that.
sleeping, Gina, and you'll be okay.
I know. Well, I do
Hey,
have.
Terry, since you're... Whoops, sorry.
I bought the iMic. That is a regular microphone that plugs into my iPad, and it has a 6-foot cord, I believe.
Right.
That I've actually used many times when I'm doing interviews and we're videotaping, and that works really great too. Just the iMic. It was, I think, again, $99.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this one that just pops
Well,
in.
the Mikey's a really good voiceover mic. It's actually
Yes.
really clean.
So really,
Yeah,
that would be if you were doing something yourself, because if you're interviewing someone, it's still probably too far away with where you need to.
It's not built for interviews, though. It has a stereo mode where you could actually interview people. So it can do it. I think when you're doing a real interview, you probably want a more of a handheld mic.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, you could do both. I actually went to a place, Microphone Madness, at microphonemadness.com, and they designed a mic for me so I could have one over the ear and then a splitter with a handheld.
Oh, perfect.
So then I plug both of them as one into my recording device, my camcorder or audio, and then I'm able to hold the microphone and have the digital over-the-ear mic so I can talk and ask questions and then move the microphone back and forth to say, well, Rick, what do you think about that? And when you talk, then I can pull it back as well if you get someone or you need to interview 2 or 3 people. Works very nicely.
Now, there is a way to do that real easily. If you have a Zoom recorder like an H2N,
Yes.
I believe that one has adapters for external mics. And then you get
Something like
something like
this?
one of the earphone mics that has exactly, like an XLR attachment, put it in there, and now you've got the same basic thing.
Yep. It's nice. And so there are lots of ways to do it. And again, it comes back to you're connecting with people and being able to bring a lot of folks together that way. One of the things I see right now is it's really exciting is doing interviews where you can have, like you're doing. There's 3 of us here. We're in San Diego, Denver, Orlando, but it's as if we were in the same room. And now with the technology, with Skype, with Google Hangouts, etc., we can do all of that for very low or no cost.
Yeah, that makes it great. And again, using it in a way to generate income, or building your business or sharing. I mean, it's just great to do these type of interviews, save them, build an archive of them. Are you doing video? I know the answer to this, but share with us how you actually use kind of these videotaped interviews in your business model.
What I'm doing, someone goes over to terrybrock.com and clicks on the blog there, a shameless plug there, you can see a lot of video interviews that I'll do with people around the world. And so what I'll do there is provide lots of content. There's no magic to the formula. It's you give lots of content, valuable information that's genuine and real, and then also you have ways for people to become involved with you. There's products that you have, and once they've earned your trust, they know you, they like you, and they trust you, then they're able to go to that next step, which is engagement. So they will engage with you because, hey, we all want to learn, we want to get better. And when we've followed someone, say on a podcast, I think for instance, Susan Bratton had a podcast a while back that I really liked called Dishy Mix. And I would listen to it many, many times. Well, when she had a product, I was delighted to buy a product from her and pays money because she gives good content. I know what she has. She's got great information there. And I think that's the way you can make money. You give a lot away for free that's really good, and then you have commercially available ways for them to get involved with you. And then that model has been around since the early days of radio and television.
Yeah, and I agree.
So
It works very well.
Absolutely.
It works really well. Actually, have you ever read that book, The Go-Giver?
Oh, I know Bob Berg
Do you?
and John David Mann, the authors of that. Bob Berg is in our mastermind group.
Great. It's a
So I
great,
get a
it's
chance
great
to see
book.
regularly. And he lives that philosophy, by the way, not just on stage, not just in the book, but I mean just one-on-one, even when things get tough. Bob is a consummate professional.
That's great.
As a matter of fact, I saw Bob tweet out this morning about you being on the show.
Oh, he did. Well, very good.
Shout out to you, Bob.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Bob.
So you definitely use a lot of video in your business. You use a lot of podcasting. Are there other tools that you find kind of easy to use, and you travel a lot, so easy to take with you, that kind of managing relationships?
I think there's a lot of tools that are out there. One of the things I do is I use some of the Fujitsu scanners. I've got one that I use here at the office. It's sitting right there that I can scan a lot of things. So as I'm on a phone call, for instance, I still like that old thing called, here, watch this. Gina, have you heard of one of these? They're called a 3x5 index card. Look at that. And they're a thing called, what was it? Paper. Paper is what they call it.
I do remember in first grade I used that.
Yeah, these are still really good, and a pen. And so while I'm on a phone call with someone, I find it very easy just to write some notes down or mind map it out or something like that. It works very nicely. Then when I'm finished with it, I can take this, scan it very quickly, and then I've got a record of the call that I had with Sue Johnson on this day, etc., where we talked about this, use those as keynotes, and then send that up to Evernote. Evernote gives you the ability to store that, and just a marvelous little tool. You're storing it in the cloud so that then 3 months later you think, oh, I had a call with Sue Johnson, but I forget what she said about such and such. You can go back and find it very easily. So a scanner becomes a great tool for creating and leveraging relationships even more.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised that you're using a scanner. Why wouldn't you, or why do you like the scanner over, say, taking a picture of it with your iPhone?
Oh, I find that the iPhone is good, but sometimes taking a picture doesn't always work out as well as a scanner, particularly if I've got a full page or I've got some small little page and things like that. I find that the scanner can work out very well for paper and doing it that way. Pictures are still very good. I just tend to like the scanner, so I get a little bit better clarity, and it seems to be a little bit faster for me.
That's true. I guess that would make it bigger. I know, again, I'm always taking pictures of scribbled notes, and I'll snap a picture and put it in Evernote, which, again, I love Evernote for that reason. It's just your catch-all, keep-all, find-all tool.
Yeah. It's very, very nice. And also I like the scanning that I've got a copy now on my computer as well as in Evernote. We know the importance of don't put all your eggs in one storage bin. So make sure that you have you don't have everything only in Evernote or only on Facebook. Make sure that they might be in a couple of different places. Matter of fact, one of the things we're doing here at the office today is we've got a lot of videos up on YouTube, and most of them we have copy, but we want to make sure we've got our own copy as well as an MP4. YouTube gives you that ability to download up to 2 an hour of your own videos, and so we get those, have them as MP4s, just in case we need them for some other reason. We've got them there.
Got stuff everywhere. All little eggs tucked everywhere.
Exactly. Something like that is good, so that you have a diversifying, and that's been good for living life and investing anyway. So those kind of tools are very good. And oh, by the way, another thing I got to mention when you're taking the pictures, here's a great little tool that you can get. One of these, I'm glad we got video. This is so nice, Gina, that we can do video. It's a little tool that goes in and out, and I can use this for my iPhone, so that I showed you my mic on here. What I can do is I can use this and be able to store it or position it here, so that now with this around it, I can use one of those extenders, like one of these. This is the zip shot.
Or even a tripod.
Put it on here, and now it's got a way to hold that iPhone, or it can go on a regular tripod. So one of these little tools will cost you a couple of nickels, is really, really nice to have as well.
Okay, I need that, because I'm always looking at, I wish there was a way to put my phone on a tripod so that you can either take a picture of somebody or just steady the camera on a monopod or a tripod. Now that would work for any...
Go to Amazon. You'll probably find one for that one.
Yep. Amazon.com is usually the place we go.
I like Terry. We have the same toys.
I know.
Exactly.
I knew. You guys, we would be inseparable by the end.
I have that same thing. It's great.
So there you go, Gina. This is what you need. You get one of these, and the nice thing about it, they're very inexpensive. For maybe an Andrew Jackson, $20, you can get yourself most all the stuff here that you need, and then you've got it set. And now what you're really doing is you're recording, and you've got good quality audio, good quality video that you can then send to someone, and it's right there on your iPhone in a convenient way.
Okay, tell us the name of that little clamp thing.
I don't know. I think it's called.
Can I just type clamp thing?
Yeah, clamp thing. It's like a Jed Clampett. Come and listen to my story to a man named Jed, or something like that. So this is a little I would put on there iPhone holder or iPhone holder for tripod. I just bought a few of them, so I always like to get, when I find something that's really good on Amazon, I usually buy one, and then if it's really good, I go back and buy one or two more, because you don't want to have just one of those things that are really essential important.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called too. I have it too, and it's like it's not iClamp. It's something. What was it called?
I forget it. You know, they don't even have.
It's about $20, $25, something like that.
Not just an iPhone. That would hold any phone because of the way it's.
No, that one fits the iPhone only right now. But there are other ones that can fit other phones, and you also have the GPS device holders that sometimes have tripod attachments, so you could use one of those, and they'll attach to even your size phone.
Tell me, Terry, why that's only iPhone? The way it looks like it clamps down on the phone.
I don't know. I thought just for today, just because I want to really geek out today, I'm showing you I have my iPhone 5. I also have an iPhone 4, and I have my original iPhone, all of which I am using. So they are still being used, but that little device will work on all three of these on the iPhone. I don't know about, say a Samsung S3,
It's
but it would seem like, I don't know, it might, depends on how much space is here. And I haven't tested it on a S3, but that would be a quick trip over to the Amazon showroom, also known as Best Buy.
The showroom. And Larry's concern, he said in the chat room, his issue would be if his phone was in an OtterBox. Yeah, it might make it. I don't know. That looks like the way it expands.
Okay. There is a solution to that. Larry, take the phone out of the OtterBox.
No,
yes.
My daughter, who has destroyed more phones than anyone, not the Schrecklet, but the older broke college student, took her OtterBox off for 20 minutes. Not sure why, because she's actually destroyed a couple already. Took it off for 20 minutes. It fell. It didn't crack the screen, but it had the blue screen with lines. So she paid $100 to get it fixed at the I don't know, Mac Shack or something in Fort Collins, but now that phone is probably, a $900 phone. It's been repaired so many times.
Yes.
Don't
They can be like that. Unfortunately, they do break, but getting some of those outer boxes are really, really nice.
Yeah, I know. As I say that, I have no protection whatsoever on my phones.
I've got my Galaxy 3 in an OtterBox. I really enjoy it. It's good.
And
I still have my
Galaxy
iPhone 4S.
You like your Galaxy S3?
It's funny. I've had 4 iPhones, and I didn't like the 5. The 5 I thought was too teeny. My hands are big. I didn't like it. I thought the screen was crappy. I was not pleased with how small the videos looked on it. It reminded me of the original, when the TVs first came out, everything had the marquees around it because they didn't quite have the right aspect ratio. I sometimes wonder what Apple's thinking, doing, or perpetrating, but the 5 didn't do it for me, and I like the Galaxy 3. It's faster. The screen is just as sharp. I think they're both Retina displays. There's that whole mystique of what's a Retina display, and in essence, a Retina display is any screen that has 300 DPI or more.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, which is great. They look really good, but that's the maximum our eyes can see. Which is, so you don't have to do anything beyond a Retina display. The eyes can't tell.
Yeah, it's kind of like only dogs would appreciate some of the audio that's out there.
That's true.
So there might be some creature that does, but I know what you mean. But I love the video on here. I mean, it's just that's why I would say those that are watching, there's no one size fits all.
Right.
Find what works right for you. I love the fact that I could, like for instance, I was reading last night Guy Kawasaki's book on What the Plus about Google Plus, and reading that, and I enjoyed it. And then he had a lot of QR codes, and I thought, this is just amazing. I can take this, scan the QR code immediately. I'm watching a video on it, and of course that's older technology now, nothing new. But to me, it's just fabulous that we can take a printed document called a book, scan this device, and now I'm enriching my learning experience and understanding it even more than I would just with print.
Yeah, that's true. I know the whole piece of making that integrated, that whole experience better using these tech tools is awesome. Okay, before we run out of time, we have to shift to social, because you and I was going to say your better half, but your shining sidekick, who we're hoping to get on the show soon, Gina Carr. You guys do a lot with companies, helping them with social and using different tools. What are some of the tools that you're finding that really help you do your job better, or really save time when it comes to managing all the chaos?
I think there's a lot of them out there. Of course, using social media, that's where we need to be today. It's like we know the world has shifted. We know that that's where it is, and it's most important that we realize we treat it right, that it's not just a broadcast, but it's interaction, and it's a combination. I still go back to one of my old buddies, Hootsuite, and Hootsuite just is there for programming, sending information out. I like that. Buffer app is also very good so that you can create buffers and it goes out at a certain period of time. Facebook has put in certain rules and regulations where they don't like that as much, and they don't put as high an edge rank on that. Real technical stuff, but I find that what social media really is all about is interacting. And that means, I think, as we talk to clients, I just finished doing a program for a very large Fortune 10 company and talking with them about social media, how they would use it. I say it's most important not just to treat it as another way of broadcasting. Don't think of it like 1960s television where you buy a bunch of TV and a bunch of radio and newspapers and you just blast it out to the world. That doesn't work. Today it's been turned upside down. Find ways that you can connect, and that means make a commitment to be there and to respond to people. You don't have to respond with a 30-page document, but you respond with a quick, yes, I hear you, or yes, we'll get on that, or I'll have people take a look at that when a customer or a prospect signifies they've got a real issue. So I think that social media has become really important on those areas, and the tools are great. My iPhone is one of the great tools I use with social media for taking pictures, sending it out, and using it that way. And they're getting more all the time. I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Leva said in the chat room, definitely commitment is, for a company to take on any social media, it is a commitment. And I think most of the time, one of the mistakes people make is they don't anticipate the amount of time and commitment that it takes. They think, oh, throw something up on Facebook, throw something out on Twitter once a day. The commitment, and I just read a post this morning about the top companies. They did this kind of mystery shopping for people, sent all kinds of tweets. It was just focusing on Twitter and customer response or customer service response. So they sent it to large brands that have a Twitter account, and how poorly, I was shocked how, the statistics were less than 50% even got back to the person who asked a question. And then the response time when they did get back was so long that it was just kind of surprising to me. When you have a large firm, how are you not monitoring that 24/7 to get back to people to make sure you're answering their questions or whatever? And I think, again, as an individual, managing your own social media, you can be just as guilty if you're not really monitoring the conversations that people are trying to have with you.
You're absolutely right. And Gina, I think often people look for the magic box. They're looking for a solution that now I can buy this gizmo and now I can sit back, lace my fingers behind my head, put my feet up on the desk, and I don't have to do any work. I'll let this thing do it for me. I think that's what we want to do with whatever the technology is. But really it comes back to, if you were in the 1940s, you would have to be there and listen to people, use the telephone, talk to people, and you would want to be there, walk out and see them, shake their hand, etc. And those things still matter today. Even though we're using social media, you still want to be there. When someone sends you a note, respond back that, hi, it was really good to hear from you, Mary. We'll look forward to talking with you later. Or sometimes a quick phone call. Mary, we need to talk about this. Call me at such and such number. And I think that means that you've got to have the attitude of helping others sincerely. And then that ultimately generates not only business, but I think a much better life and a much better world when we can really concentrate on the relationships and use the technology just to fuel those relationships and make it easier.
Yeah, I agree. And it is. It's a commitment of time. You have to be willing to say, if I'm using this for my business, again, if you're using it for personal, do what you want. But if you want to build relationships, whether it's your business or personal, you've got to commit to being there. Or as I just saw Donna put in the chat room, being on. You don't just throw content out there. Donna. And here's nothing that surprises me. When I start working with clients, I look at how many of them, they go out and they'll follow strategic people that they're trying to connect with, or they want to become their customers, so they go out and follow people. They very rarely will go to see who has followed them to follow those people back. So companies, I guess, have this arrogant feel of, we'll follow people back that we want to follow. We don't necessarily need to follow the commoners who want to follow us. And I don't know, I just find that really bad practice for a company.
Yes.
I agree.
You have to be there, and you have to really care. And there's a lot of arrogance, like you said. You came out and said the word, and that's very important. That people sit back and think, "Well, I will send out things, but I don't have time for that."
Right.
And, it's like they want everyone to read their mail that they're sending out on email, but they don't have time to read anyone else's mail that's coming. The stuff coming to me is junk mail, and I think we can't do that. We've got to care for people, much like if you joined a very prestigious country club. You would not dare to send someone else in your place and say, "This person's going to go there and pass out my business cards and always try to get business for me." No, you've got to be there. You've got to commit to the time, like you said, Gina. You commit to the time to be there every Thursday for the annual meeting or for the weekly meetings that are there on Thursday for luncheons or whatever it is. Then you become part of that community, and it takes the time of you physically being there. I find those CEOs who do best are those who are now involving themselves in some way in a community in the right way that works for them.
Yeah, it's interesting, Leva. That's such an interesting point. Leva was saying it's often considered as wasting time, which is exactly what I think companies. And I keep saying larger companies, but I guess it's any company. And a client that I'm currently working with actually said to me, "Doesn't it look bad though if you're out there following a bunch of?" Because I said we need to follow back all these people who have followed you from the beginning of time. People have followed you, wanting you to engage with them as well and listen to what's going on in their world, so that you can respond with how can you fit into their world. And they said, well, doesn't that give an impression, a negative impression, if I'm following all these people back? That as a company, is that not seen as bad? So I'm not sure where that started or where that came from, but it's a really, I think, a bad practice. It's kind of like saying we'll open our doors and let you guys come in. We're not going to listen to you if you come in, but just come in.
I think you put it very well, and it's a matter of being able to help them. And then at the same time, there's the balance. It's not either or. It's like if you spend all your day just connecting with people, feeling good and sharing, and oh, here's a picture of my dog. Oh, here's a cute picture of this. I like this. And that's all you do. You're going to go bankrupt. There will not be money in there. And so there's business side. And so it's a balance of concentrating on, we do need to pay the bills. This is business. Therefore, you win them over. People see you. They like you, much like going to a country club. You join that prestigious country club. You don't walk in going, "Hi, I'm wonderful. Buy my stuff." You'd be thrown out in a moment. But you get to know them, you meet their needs, you listen, and you provide ways to help them. And then they want to reciprocate. They want to help you. And particularly if you're very good, if you have the competency and you're really good at what you do, then they'll want to not only use you, but refer others to you. So it's a balance of doing both. Provide the business and be out there and definitely respond to those people. For a bunch of people following you, you need to follow them, because even though you might consider someone arrogantly, "Oh, they're just a commoner, we're not going to pay attention to them," they know somebody who knows somebody, and word spreads really, really fast in the blog world and the Twitter world and the Facebook world.
Yeah.
That's true. And with that note, Gina, we are out of time.
Mary, I totally agree with you. Mary in the chat room said, many companies don't see a direct effect on the bottom line, so it's not seen as a revenue producer. Bad practice, bad practice.
Yep,
I agree.
agreed. Mary, you're right.
There's never enough time to cover everything with you, Terry. There's so much. So at least we know to get more info, go to terrybrock.com. We put it in the chat room one more time. And definitely check out his blog, which is just tons of resources, tons of information there. So thank you so much, Terry. This has just been too fun.
It's always great to see you. Rick, great to meet you and
Same
work with
here.
you on this. Look forward to staying in touch. And Gina, big hugs across the miles from Orlando, way up there to Denver. And Rick, a big hug to you out to San Diego.
Same here. I'm in Camarillo, actually. Camarillo,
Okay,
California.
okay. Well, we'll send the hug the other way then, okay? We can do that digitally. It works that way.
And thank you to everyone in the chat room. You guys are brilliant as usual. And yeah, thank you. We'll get the link out. It'll be up on YouTube within 30 minutes, and for the replay. And we'll get the chat room. A lot of resources were written down in the chat room, so we'll copy all of this and put it out there as well. So.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. And if you're in the chat room, we appreciate it as always. And if you're watching the show, please subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Terry. Bye, Gina.
Thank you.
Happy shopping. I gotta find one of those gadgets.
Yeah.
Clippy gadgety.